America is becoming a third world country. Do you think so? You already know my answer. Let's get into this, man.
In a first world country, you can simply look around. Everything is being eroded in this country when it comes to healthcare, when it comes to infrastructure, when it comes to access to the basic necessities of life. These things are either becoming of lower quality, or in general, many Americans will no longer have access to these things that would normally define a country as first world. America is becoming a low-income country, and I don't think people really understand that at this point. The wealth disparity in America is growing so much, and the devaluation of the dollar is becoming so consequential and is touching so many people's lives that, like I said, America has become a low-income country, and if we have not become that, we are becoming that. And a low-income country is often regarded as a third world country. So how is America not becoming that? I think it's time for us to drop the idea that we are the greatest country on the planet, because I think it's a great distraction. And it leads the people in America to live in a kind of delusion and put themselves in a place where they don't actually have to face the reality. That standard of living is constantly dropping. I think one of the things that hold Americans back the most is that they've become kind of slaves to their own reputation.
You made a solid point right there, and I was going to say something else, but now I have to say, yeah, he's right. Once you get a way of life, you kind of have to upkeep that, or, it seemed like it's bad or something, If I were to move into a smaller place, it wouldn't be seen as a good thing. It would be seen as that something's wrong, at the very least. Because I'm downsizing or whatever. I honestly don't care anymore. I don't know, man. It sucks, but I think I finally accepted, what reality is. I don't know, maybe it'll change in the future, but I don't think so.
We have to believe that we're the best. We have to believe that our country is just greater than no other. But at the same time, we don't realize how difficult it's actually becoming for most people to live here in America. It's easy for us to just accept what we're being told, that the economy is booming, the housing market is booming. Of course, if you watch mainstream media, that's what they're saying. Home prices are going towards all-time highs again, even though no one's buying, even though the vast majority of Americans are priced out of ever buying a home. The unemployment is near reaching all-time lows, even though many people have to carry 2 jobs just to pay the bills and maintain their households. In America, our lives used to be defined by the freedom that we have, but now it's simply defined by the labor in which we're able to sell. The labor market is becoming nothing more than a meat market. We sell our hours of the day. We only have so many hours of the day, and none of them are for us, because they can't be for us, because most Americans are now stuck in the reality that they have to sell the waking hours of their day simply to live.
I'm at the point now, man, where I'm just trying to lower my hours at work. If I can figure it out, I'm going to do it. I'm essentially just going for getting my bills to zero. Now, that was my plan, but before it was make a lot of money so that I can... Nah, bro. I'm over it, man. I'm not playing this game anymore. I'm not going to work harder. I'm not going to save my money the way they want me to save my money. I'm not even going to really invest, man. I'm literally just going to go for freedom, because everything else is just not even worth it. I swear, I should never set out to plan to make this much money. I didn't think it would have taken me this long. I don't know, man. It's like they know people are becoming free, so they have to keep prolonging stuff, keep delaying stuff, keep doing stuff. And it's like at some point, man, you just stop trying, you stop playing, you stop caring, because who cares?
But when I say live, I don't mean truly live. I mean just sustain the household. Life in America is nothing more but a constant battle to keep yourself out of homeless. We are a low-income society, and we are becoming a poor society, a poor country, a third world country. Don't be fooled by the trappings around you. Don't be fooled by the big apartment buildings, the big houses that you'll never actually be able to afford. Because even those apartment buildings, for the most Americans at this point, they can't actually afford to live there. We think of the homes that are being built around us because there's constantly construction being done, but are those homes actually being built for you? Right now, there's more homes on the market than there has been since pre-pandemic levels, but home sales are almost at a 20-year low. The homes that are going up are starting in the 400, 500,000s. But in order to buy those homes, you need an income of $120,000, $130,000 a year. And no one has that. Not when the median household income in America is about $80,000. They're not building them for you. America in the 21st century is going to be defined by the wealth disparity that we're existing in and how it is exploding. Of course, we saw a major transfer of wealth in 2008 and of course 2019 to 2021. And I would argue that the major tax cuts that are given to billionaires and the richest Americans are only going to see that increase.
Yeah, for sure. We're not ever going to get out of this. I've come to this reality, man. Seriously. Seriously, we will never escape. Even if the best we could do, maybe you escape with a little bit more freedom than most people. That's all I can say. And that's what I'm going for. I just sold off some stuff. Extremely exhausting, by the way. Everything is just exhausting. I was just shipping out one package, man. I had to do 5 different steps that I wasn't expecting. And I feel bad because I was kind of bumming everybody out, I felt like, but this is just how I feel today. I don't feel like there's anything to be motivated by. Everything's just exhausting. The people are just loud. They're not listening. They're aggressive. I don't know anymore. Because usually there'd be I just want to be free, or I just need this, or at this point, I don't know what I need. And that's even crazier.
Because when we look at investments, when we look at profit that's actually coming into the household, profit that actually hits our pockets and hits our bank accounts, we have to understand that we, normal Americans, get pennies while the richest Americans get pounds. America isn't for Americans anymore. It's simply for business. When I lived in West Virginia back in the day, the state motto used to be Wild and Wonderful West Virginia. And then it was changed all of a sudden to West Virginia, open for business. And that's what America has become. America used to be a place of ceaseless wonder, a place of absolute beauty and opportunity for everyone. If you're able to get here and work hard enough to attain it, you might be able to attain some kind of life that's far better than the life that you may have been able to get in your own country. But with the ladder being raised up behind the wealthiest class of Americans, there isn't even a pie left for pieces to be carved from. America is becoming a third world country because the people are living in a state of abject indentured servitude now. Every moment of your day has to be focused on monetizing your life. Because if
He's not lying, dude. You think, man, it's just a joke, man. And I'm supposed to be grateful, right? I'm supposed to be grateful for this. I'm not grateful for this. And honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I don't even blame the baby boomers. I really feel like there's something else at play here, because I just don't think this could happen. I don't give humans enough credit for this type of manipulation, man. I swear, man, at this point, dude. For sure, we're being controlled by aliens. I said it, man.
If you don't, you're going to end up homeless. Because the cost of living is going to constantly increase. That if you don't constantly improve your financial outlook and your ability to bring in money, eventually that cost of living is going to outpace your earned income and you're going to slip into poverty. When 70% of Americans don't have $1,000 in their bank account for an emergency, and at the same time the devaluation of the dollar means that $1,000 20 years ago had the buying power of what now would be $2,000 or $3,000. Our money has been devalued so much, and it doesn't matter what they actually tell us on the media. It doesn't matter what our politicians tell us about a booming economy, inflation going down. The fact is,
I don't think anybody's dumb enough to believe these people when they say we have a fiscal policy that's creating jobs for everybody and the economy is really taking a turn for the greater. Dude, nobody believes that crap, dude. Honestly, man, I want to say something, but I can't,
inflation is always there. We're happy that it's at a lower rate. And if it goes up a little higher, we panic. If it goes down a bit, we're happy about it. But the fact is, inflation is always there. And it doesn't need to be. It's just under the monetary policy that America has carried for generations is baked into the system that while your money is worth less and your ability to bring in income never really goes up, at the same time, the price of all assets, whether it's homes, whether it's cars, whether it's goods at the store, whether it's healthcare, those will always go up to meet inflation or to surpass that, because greed is also a major factor in this corporate country that we're in. If we continue this trend, then yes, it is inevitable that America will become what we would describe as a third world country at some point very soon, because people are at their breaking point now. The populace of America is struggling.
Dude, people have been at their breaking point, I would say like a year plus ago from this point, dude. Like, I just hate these people, I'm not gonna lie. I don't understand, right? Why we do this. Like, I'm literally at the point where, dude, why I'm telling you, man, because there's no enjoyment in doing any of this. It's a joke, man. People just want to live a decent life, and that's too much to ask, you know? Speaking of that, I had to go to the library. There was some dude pushing some huge shopping cart inside the library. Clearly he was homeless, you know? And it's like, even here, this is supposed to be like a good part of the city, or I guess the state, and it's like, even now homeless people are starting to weasel their way in, and it's not even necessarily it's not their fault, you know? But it's like, this is what's gonna start happening. You're gonna start seeing a lot more homeless people in these great parts of town, and it's like, dude, why? Not even, I mean, why is there homeless anyways? But like, I think it's getting to that point where it's gonna start seeping into like the more upper level communities, which is gonna be crazy, because it's like, and that's already happened. If you look at California, it's crazy, man. This world we live in is insane. Everybody's gonna be homeless.
The idea of actually attaining any kind of generational wealth at this point, while the vast majority of Americans are struggling to live paycheck to paycheck, should simply solidify that fact into our heads, because it is a fact. No change is actually being made, no matter what party is in charge. It's just baked into the system. It's the way that our system is. We have, for my entire life at least, been moving into a direction where only the wealthy people are actually going to be able to attain the assets that define success in America, that define comfortable life in America, that define success in America. And I'd say that at this point, we're only one generation away, maybe, until the idea of having any kind of safety and security that you can actually purchase and provide for on your own without any kind of government assistance will simply be a dream. At least.
And it's crazy. The people who are even buying assets aren't doing very well. I've been buying Bitcoin and crypto for like 4 years. I still have not seen really any of the huge profits. Nobody's making money. I don't know if you've been buying real estate for 4 years. I'm sure you could come up with some money. But I'm telling you, it seems like even the people, all these people buying Pokemon cards and all this other crap, even they're not making that much money. Like, I just sold, I guess I can tell you now. It's a Black Lotus collector's edition. And I didn't even make that much profit. And I had a great buy. I just had to sell it, man, because, dude, I'm paying off some debt, man. I'm paying off my car. I'm doing some other things, and I'm cooling, man. I'm trying to go down to 32 hours a week, maybe less. I can't spend my whole life working. And I'm coming to the conclusion, dude, I was for sure everything was gonna be straightened out by now. But here we are. And it's like, how long do you sip the copium, man? How long do you lose money on something where you're like, maybe I should just move on, you know? I'm starting to get to that point. And it's unfortunate, but it's just a reality.
For 70 to 80% of Americans. Because that's what we're looking at right now. When 60% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, that means that there's 60% of Americans that don't have the ability to save, that don't have the ability to dream, to live. Their life is simply work. Their life is simply labor. And that becomes the all-consuming definition of your life. The labor that you can provide to the system. America used to be a place of liberty where someone can pursue happiness. But the pursuit of happiness is a luxury in a third world country. And a third world country is a country where, by definition, luxuries are only attainable by the wealthy. The truth is, there has to be a fundamental change to our system for our system to actually work for the working class, to work for the working poor, to uplift the normal American person so that they can live a life actually worth living, and not just a life of toil and labor. Because what we're going to see as the low income country continues to be more low income, and as the quality of life and standard of living continue to drop in our country, is that the expectation of the normal American, what they expect out of their lives, what they expect for their government, is going to change after just the next couple of generations. We're just getting by, and just having enough is the new normal. That's the expectation that we will have. Not actually growing, succeeding, building ourselves up, because that ability will just be too expensive for us.
I'm telling you, man, the first thing I'm doing is getting out of debt, man. Man, and I'm honestly, once I get a couple things paid for, dude, I'm cutting my credit cards up. I don't care if I have a bunch of limits on them. I'm not using them anymore. It's just a trap, man, and I refuse to live my whole... You know, that's what I was saying to myself. If I have to live in this crap, I'm at least not working, right? If working 40 hours a week is a freaking scam, then I'm not doing it, you know? I'm done playing by all this system rules and stuff. I'm not gonna try to go out and get a good job. I'm just not doing it. I'm not wasting my time. I'm not gonna go out there and watch the movies. I already don't spend that much money. All my money is invested. But even now, dude, I'm about to back out of investing, dude. I'm just gonna survive. And that's unfortunate because I put so much time in, and now it feels like I'm just trying to survive, and it's pissing me off. Like, I don't know. And then I think to myself, it's like, dude, and I'm the lucky one. I have way more money than some of these other guys, and maybe I'm not even the lucky one. I don't think any of us win. Whether you have money, you don't have money, you kind of have money, I really don't believe any of us are winning.
Too expensive for the normal American. Like I said, success in a third world country is simply just too expensive for normal people. Their life is toil. Their life is struggle. Their life is labor. I've been to enough third world countries to understand that. I've been to enough third world countries where tourists will go and their money is worth 10 times as much as it is in America. And they enjoy it so much because they're essentially living as the wealthiest people in a third world country. And everyone else who lives in that country out of necessity, their job, their purpose is to actually just keep the system going so the wealthy can live comfortable lives.
That is a solid point too. I was just watching something about like these hotels that were like $1 a night and stuff, and all these terrible places where people were just living in basically sheds on top of a river or something. It was really ridiculous, and they're like washing their clothes, or people go to the bathroom and all this and that. And they would look towards me and be like, dude, you're super wealthy and rich. And it is perspective, you know? So maybe I shouldn't feel so bad. But is that really, do I really? It just feels like if I am this super rich guy, why doesn't it feel good? Why don't I feel like I'm free? I'm just, you know what it is? No, I mean, I do have, we all have amenities that a lot of these people in these third world countries don't have. But it's just like, dude, like, we're still slaves too, man.
That sounds like what America is becoming when all the homes that are going up are only being bought by wealthy Americans. When's the last time true low-income housing was built in this country? It just isn't. Look around at the subdevelopments that are being built now. Do you see anything that says starting at the low 100s or 200,000s? No. But I imagine that that's something that we're going to see start popping up all over the country soon out of necessity, but it's going to be incredibly low quality, cheap made homes that will fall apart after 20, 30, 40 years, only made for one lifetime, not meant to be passed down to create that kind of generational wealth that is usually held in the cornerstone of property ownership and asset appreciation. Because the good homes, the strong homes, the homes that will be long lasting, where people can actually afford to hand those things down and not just go into a reverse mortgage or tap into their equity at the end of their lives so they can actually have a couple years of peace where they don't actually have to work, that kind of freedom will only be affordable to the wealthy. Tax the rich. Tax the rich and change the system, because that's the only way we're actually going to stay away from actually becoming a third world country. We're almost there. We're almost there. It's just life is pretty here. And you can still get fat and you can still go to the store and buy food. But it's going to get difficult at some point. Because
Nah, for sure it's getting difficult now, man. This world is a joke, man. I don't understand why we have to live like this, but he's speaking so many facts in this video. Like I said, I'm going for straight freedom, man. I refuse to be a slave forever. And if this is the game, this is the ball they're trying to play, then I'll just play ball. I feel like I'll just go down to 32 hours. I'll pay off all my debts and I'll just move on with my life. And then once I get enough money from my investments, I'll go down to 24 hours and then whatever. And then I'm just not, and I'm not even, I'm telling you, man, I don't care if my income is less than 20,000 a year. If I'm not working and I can pay my bills, I'm good, man. That's all I'm worried about, man, because, dude, I'm just beat, man. And it's like my body can't take it anymore. I'm 29. I'm about to be 30 in like 6 months. This just ain't it. This ain't it. See you guys next video, man. Dose.